who gets power? Transfers from Satan back to Christ. Well, Christ always has power. When we respond to hatred and anger with love, it befuddles the enemy, and Satan doesn't know what to do with it. Remember, when your spouse has left you, when your spouse is having an affair, they are not your enemy. Satan is your enemy, and they're holding your spouse captive, which actually is rule number 5. Never think of yourself as the good guy and your spouse or your prodigal as the bad guy. And by the way, that's Matthew 7:3. Each of these has the Bible verse. When our prodigals sin against us, whether your prodigal is a child, a spouse, a sibling, our flesh wants us to be angry at them. Our flesh wants to hate them. And for my standards, much of the time, I say to them, let's just assume your spouse is 90% at fault. They're having an affair. They took all your money. They're not paying you support. You only see your kids half the time. If you look at them as a bad guy, you've lost. One of the things we do is apologize for any infraction of a sin against them. But they haven't apologized for anything they've done. But you apologize for your 10%. What does that do to Satan? He doesn't know what to do with that. Satan is the king of pride. These are tangible strategies that each of you can practice when someone comes against you. When you say, I'm so sorry that I did such and such. I did a video once, which was, some of my videos are, looked at very well. Some of them are like really well. And there was one I did that got a lot of comments, a lot of views. And one of the ways that I've learned to make decisions in my life is what I did in that video. For instance, this past month, my husband and I have been fighting a lot, and my pride has been making me, I'm not going to say sorry. I'm sure he's been doing the same. I have these 2 sticky notes on my desk. One has a smiley face, and one has a frown face. And I say, if I don't say sorry to my husband, which one of those is Jesus, and which one is Satan? If I refuse to say sorry to my husband, or if I'm unkind, Satan's smiling, isn't he? And I can't stand when I make Satan smile. Can't stand it. So it's like, I'm going to make Jesus smile and make Satan frown. So before I left, I gave my husband a big kiss and told him how much I loved him and missed him, and Satan lost. Number 7, never think of yourself first. Rather, humbly regard others as more important than yourself. That's Philippians 2, verse 3. We're told to humble ourselves. And when the offended humbles himself before the offender, Satan has no power. He was sinless, and he humbled himself before us. It's incredible. I'm just going to read one more. Recognize the conditions you may have placed on your unconditional love. Recognize the conditions that you may have placed on your unconditional love. Guys, we are Catholic. We have the fullness of the truth of the gospel. There are no conditions. We are to love our spouses, our neighbors, our enemies, That colleague at work that makes your life hell? That person who has opposite political values of you? How do you love them? Love is an action. Do something for them. Pray for them. Humble yourself before them. Perhaps mow their lawn. Bring them cookies for Christmas, something. Because it's not about you being arrogant. It's not about you winning. It is about you going, I want that soul in heaven. Not because my sinful flesh wants them in heaven. I'm still trying to get better at that. But because God wants them in heaven. And when you've given everything you can to pray for that person, you have set yourself apart from culture. You have become holy. I am a stander. Will you stand with me?